Ladies and gents, good evening from Europe, April 15th. We are like 1 hour post US market close. So the initial risk of sentiment turned off a bit. We've seen a little bit of the stocks rally back. It was probably mostly attempt to close the gap. We've seen a little bit of the dollar rejection, right? So what next, right? What is going to happen, or what might happen during the Thursday session, especially the Tokyo session, might be very interesting. So without the further delay, let's have a look what we have when it comes to the charts. Alright guys, let's start with Australian dollar. Alright, well, looks very interesting. Well, the thing is that we went a little bit higher than what I thought, meaning that I've been a huge fan of the short Australian dollar somewhere inside this drop-based drop formation, right? Based on this daily chart, drop-based drop formation based on the chart. Well, we went a little bit higher. Now, yesterday we've seen the retest of the very important level, right? And over the course of the day today, we've seen strong rejection. Now, where the bulls were trying to step in? Well, the bulls were trying to step in right at the broken supply, right at the broken resistance. So, looks like the broken resistance turned out to be support right here, right now, especially when we are going to take into the consideration the lower show here. But still, taking into the consideration the whole move to the downside, I'm still bearish. So I've been trying to add into the short position, right? Of course, I'm going to watch carefully what is going on right here, right now, when it comes to the retest of this level. And we are talking about the levels close to 0.63. Well, I would like to see the move get back below 0.63. That would add, right? So in case we are going to, let's try to visualize this, guys. Let's try to visualize this, guys. If you are going to get the close tomorrow like this, right? So similar kind of the candle we've seen today, right? So down, right? Well, that's gonna be very interesting, because that's going to produce some kind of the expectations that we might see lower levels, because we are going to get back below the previous supply. So the thing is that, taking into the consideration that for now, right, market was trying to get back move higher above the supply, but with rejection we might start to think about some kind of the failure. Of course, we are going to get an answer tomorrow, right? So overall, if we are going to get back below 63, right, that might immediately open the way down where? Towards 62, right? Towards that particular supply. What was it? It was the half or 50% of the supply based on this drop-based drop formation, right? So yes, I do expect, based on what? Well, very easy. Based on that rejection here, okay, that we are going to see this type of the deeper rejection, and that's gonna be retest of 62. That's how I see the Aussie USD. Now let's switch to Euro Aussie. And let's have a look what we have here. Well, very similar to what we discussed when it comes to the Euro Kiwi, right? Why we are discussing Australian dollar? Because we are going to get job market number during the upcoming Tokyo session. Now, when it comes to the Euro Aussie, well, very interesting thing. Very similar to what we discussed when it comes to the Euro Kiwi, right? So we've seen the huge break to the upside. We've seen some kind of the consolidation, and we've seen continuation, pullback, base, continuation, right? So the initial pullback, right? We've seen lower shadow attempt to go higher. Then we broke lower and we are testing another possible demand. We have some kind of possible rally. Now, if you are not long and if you cannot work with your current or existing long position, meaning that you cannot partially close your position, if you cannot move the stops, right? Well, what you want to see here is that taking into the consideration the latest move during the US cash market, right? And taking into the consideration this, well, a little bit of the upper shadow on the daily chart, right? Well, we cannot rule it out another attempt to go lower, right? So what I'm going to look for when it comes to Euro USD, Euro Aussie tomorrow, right? I'm going to look for this type of the candle moving lower, right? But I do expect some kind of demand around 170, right? So towards the end of the day tomorrow, and I'm going to explain clearly, I'm looking for this type of the lower shadow close around today's open, right? So some kind of the stop count. So overall, what we've seen over the course of the day today, right? It was the risk off. So on that particular cross, we've seen move higher, right? We've seen stocks going lower during the Tokyo European session, but then during the US hours, we've seen a little bit of the bounce back. So probably Asia and Europe is going to bounce back again. Then tomorrow we are going to see risk off. So that's what I'm looking for. Asia, Europe, lower, New York higher, lower shadow, right? That's what I'm going to look for. Overall, we have to check what's going to happen post Australian job market data. The expectations are not bright. It doesn't look good, right? So I'm going to be very, very, very careful. Overall, I do expect at some point, again, market is going to switch back to the risk of sentiment, right? So finally, let's have a look what we have on the Aussie Kiwi. I've been looking to buy, but much lower, down towards 0.350. Market haven't looked back. We've seen the rally higher, right? Very nice V formation. It could turn out to be inverted head and shoulders. So still looking to buy deep towards 0.350, 0.3, taking into the consideration that might be this type, right, of the formation. So this type of the pullback, then first target is gonna be neckline, second target is gonna be the full move. And if you remember, we are discussing 115, 125 as a second target, but 115 especially looks really, really reasonable as long as we are staying above the parity. So taking into the consideration Australian dollar versus New Zealand dollar from the medium term perspective, I'm looking for some kind of the buying opportunity, especially with the strong intraday sell-off somewhere here, 0350, 03. That's some kind of I'm going to feel the temptation to try to go along there. Anyway, if you are negative when it comes to the Australian dollar, look for the possible shorts when it comes to the Aussie. Look for the possible longs when it comes to the EURUSD. Or if you are positive towards the Australian dollar, look there for possible longs on pullback when it comes to the AUDNZD. That's it from me, guys. It was my pleasure to make such an update when it comes to the Australian dollar. Be careful, don't be trapped, stay home, stay safe, see you around. Thank you very much, take care, and goodbye.